So let's have a little chat, shall we? Let's have a little occult chat. This is your host, The Occult View. So, it's a lot of stuff going on, isn't it? But I want to focus on one particular topic right now, and that is the disintegration of the marriage of Greg Mathis and his wife, Linda, soon to be ex wife, Linda Mathis, who filed for divorce last week due to irreconcilable differences. And they've been married for 39 years, from what I understand, you know? And I'm not really trying to get into all of the mess and the messiness, but I want to talk about how, as Black people, we are trained to believe that because we see a Black couple in Hollywood and they seemingly have no problems, that automatically means that there are no problems that are there. You know what I'm saying? And this is the type of energy that we're pulling into our spirit and pulling into our soul because we're having faith in these people, thinking, oh yeah, hoop hoop hurrah, hip hip hooray, they're surely a happy couple. But come to find out, behind the scenes, they're at each other's throats. And these are married people, and marriage should not be that way. I don't care if it's between a man and a woman, or a man and a man, or a woman and a woman, it doesn't matter. Marriage should not be this way. Your spouse should not be your enemy. And according to what I'm hearing, and I'm going to say allegedly, Linda felt like Greg treated her like the enemy. Number one, according to her, allegedly, he was having multiple affairs and not just with women. From what I'm hearing, allegedly. This isn't coming from me. This is coming from other sources. I don't know if that's true or not, but I'm just making a point that we think that these marriages are perfect with these people when in actuality it's not. Just like the Neelys. Remember the Neelys, that cooking couple? I believe they were a Christian cooking couple. And they were in the kitchen. Come on, baby. Cook the baby. They were doing all that, right? They were doing all of that. Then come to find out behind the scenes, they hated each other. They were going at each other's throat. We are constantly bamboozled by Black elitists in the Black community. And I may get a lot of flack for this, but I don't give a fuck. This is what Donald Trump is really trying to tell Black people. He's trying to tell Black people, hey, listen, I know y'all don't fuck with me because I'm not a Donald Trump fan myself, but I do understand that he's a good businessman. And I do understand that he did a good job for the most part raising his children. The only gripe that I have with Donald Trump is the fact that some of the people that back him up are racist, like Hulk Hogan, for example. And Hulk Hogan used to be my hero when I was coming up. But then come to find out he was making all of these derogatory, hate-filled, racist comments about Black women because he did not want his son to date a Black woman. And then Donald Trump allowed this man to endorse him publicly. See, that's where Trump gets caught up. And that's what kind of sours his message. You feel what I'm saying? We have all of these Black elitists like Greg Mathis, like his wife, like the Neelys, like the Oprah Winfreys. We have all of these Black elitists trying to make us believe that they're one way, but in actuality, we have people that have come out of the woodwork throughout the years and ages telling us that, hey, wait a minute, these niggas ain't shit. They ain't shit, and they don't have your best interest at heart. Just like the whole thing with Monique and Oprah Winfrey. However people feel about Monique, that's on them. I'm just making a point. I'm making a spiritual and an occult point. Oprah and Monique were supposed to be friends. Monique, her mindset, how can I put this? Her mindset was that of I'm trying to find a an occult way of saying this. Um, her mindset was that of somebody like Peter Pan, which Peter Pan actually ties into the Luciferian energy in a way. Because Peter Pan, Lucifer, stole knowledge, not stole knowledge, but Lucifer gave forbidden, hidden knowledge to mankind. Okay? So Monique is Lucifer, Oprah is the God of the Bible. You feel what I'm saying? Oprah says to Monique, "Your family approached me about coming on my show." Monique tells her, "No, I don't think you should do that." But Oprah did it anyway, which caused Monique hurt and pain, which then in turn made Monique go and give out all of the secrets and information to the masses. Even if that vilified her, she still did it. You see what I'm saying? But Oprah being under the God effect, because Oprah is under the God effect. Greg Mathis is under the God effect. Now, remember, years ago, Wendy Williams did an interview with Greg Mathis and he tore her to shreds verbally. But Wendy Williams was okay with that because that brought in ratings. Because she's smart, she's a Cancer. So she allowed him to come at her like that because she knew in the end that was going to be a ratings powerhouse. She knew that. And she understood that. That's why Wendy Williams is a genius. She's a creative genius. Because Wendy was like, "Hey, listen, I've been hearing things." We were hearing things about his marriage as far back then that were unsubstantiated. And he became very defensive when Wendy Williams brought those things up. Of course he did. He's an Aries. Shadow self is Libra. But he really pulls from Taurus. You see what I'm saying? And when you confront a Taurus about things they don't want you to know about, they'll turn on you like a rabid dog, like somebody did to me, who was a Taurus. He's no longer with us, but y'all know who I'm talking about. And I didn't even bring up nothing that was, well, maybe I did. But that's another story for another day. So these allegations, truthfully, about Greg Mathis and his wife, they really don't surprise me. Because we have been up under the God effect. You know, the God effect. We've been up under that. Or the God complex effect. A lot of these black elitists have a God complex effect. And they think that they are entitled to our energy, to our votes, to our support, and we keep giving them all of our support. We keep giving them all of this energy while we have a hard time even obtaining home ownership ourselves, while they get to live in multiple homes, while lying to us, not keeping it real, while lying to us, fooling us and making us believe that everything is copacetic behind the scenes with them and their families, when in actuality, their families are totally dysfunctional. Now, I wonder, I mean, I don't think geographical location has anything to do with it, But isn't it interesting now that Judge Mathis relocated his family to Los Angeles, and I'm assuming to shoot that reality show that was tired as fuck, which Judge Mathis should have never been, a man of his stature should have never been on a reality show. You are a judge, allegedly. And like one of my spiritual coworkers said, did they just clean him up and put him in place to portray a judge for us to be fooled and bamboozled? Is he a real judge with real credentials as a judge? Or is he just a TV judge? Because Steve Harvey is an honorary judge on TV now. You know that, right? And we know he is not. We know he didn't go to no law school. We know that. We know that. So the question remains, is he even a real judge? No disrespect, but I'm just asking questions. There are so many lies and scams and, so much bamboozlement that's going on right now. But they want us to follow people like this as role models. But they tell you not to follow your own parents. They tell kids, don't follow your uncle who owns his own auto mechanic shop. No, you don't want to be like him. You want to be like Judge Mathis, a man who obviously has a lot of character flaws. And I never had anything against Judge Mathis per se. But I always knew that there was something off about him. There was something off. Now, the part about him messing with men, that ain't my business. I don't know nothing about that because I thought he was heterosexual. But these are allegations that are surfacing now that he and his wife have, come to the brink of divorce. And it doesn't surprise me. It doesn't surprise me at all if they're true. Because these are the types of men that we're told have that they have it all together. That they are these wonderful, upstanding, moral citizens of the community and God-fearing, right? Because one of the things he said to Wendy Williams when she interviewed him years ago when he ripped her to shreds, as I mentioned earlier, one of the things he kept saying to Wendy Williams is, you up here doing threesomes and doing this and doing that. You need Christ in your life. You need God in your life. Well, I have a question. Where was God at? Where was Christ at when he was cheating on his wife, allegedly, with all of these women and allegedly men as well? Where was Christ at when you were doing that? When he was doing that? You see what I'm saying? You see how dangerous these people are? And then they are put in positions of power, political power, power in the law, in the legal system, and power in the church, and power positions in the church. Because judges have 3 layers of power: political, legal, and spiritual. Or religious, not spiritual, but religious. They're interconnected with all of them. Now, I would love to hear what Judge Joe Brown got to say about him. Judge Joe Brown has been on he's been on an interview tour talking about how people are demonizing Trump, but Trump is only trying to expose the truth about a lot of these charlatans and liars, and I believe that. Trump ain't lying about a lot of these motherfuckers. He ain't lying. He may not be one of my favorite people, but he's not lying about some of these people. That's why they're trying to shut him up. That's why they're trying to shut him up. I tell you one thing, you don't hear nothing about Trump messing with no men behind his wives' back. You don't hear no rumors like that coming out about him or his sons. And there's nothing wrong if you like men. If you're gay, you're gay. I'm a gay man. But all of this deception and hurting people and lying to people and destroying people's lives and then being a total narcissist about it. And then when you get confronted about it, what do? You tell more lies, you gaslight, and you attack the person that you're victimizing. See, I see what's going on. If this is at face value, but I'm not really talking about Judge Mathis and his wife. I'm talking about life in general and how people move in these types of energies and how we as the public, we keep getting bamboozled by these types of people. We're always being told, oh, you should be more like this person. You should be more like this famous person. How about this? A lot of these famous people are some fucked up ass people. A lot of these famous people are some fucked up ass people. And our lives should not be fashioned after theirs. That's probably why so many people are fucked up now. You keep trying to live your life in alignment with a bunch of people, number one, who are disconnected from spirit because you see money. But money in that world trumps spirit because that's all they care about is money, fame, greed, and licentious pleasures. That's all they care about. They don't give a damn about us, and I'm not saying they're supposed to. And now I'm hearing that Judge Mathis is breaking down and he's upset. And he's saying that his wife did nothing but use him for 39 years. That's what he's saying. Now, I get it. There are three sides to every story. There are three sides to every story. I get it. But people are not who they're not always who they say they are. They're not always who they say they are. Just like this guy here in DC named Trayvon White. Everybody over in Ward 8 in DC, they love Trayvon. They love Trayvon White. Now a couple of weeks ago, about a week and a half ago, he was arrested by the FBI for taking bribes, political bribes. He's a DC councilman on the council. He sits on the seat of council over there in Ward 8. And I'm sure, and I ain't gonna get into that. But yeah, the FBI locked him up a couple of weeks ago. We don't know these people. A lot of these black elitists, they have agendas, and there's nothing in their agenda that says they want to help the people. There's nothing in that agenda that says that. You know why they're fighting so hard to keep Trump out of the White House? Because Trump, no matter how you feel about him, and this I can take my personal feelings out of it and look at it objectively. I'm an occultist. But the real reason that they don't want Trump back in that White House is because Trump has enough money, and Judge Joe Brown alluded to this as well. Trump has enough money where he cannot be bought by outside entities. He can't be bought by foreign governments like a lot of Democrats and others. He can't be bought. He wanted to put America first. And I know I'm going all over the place, but that's what I do. I'm the occult view. This is what I do. When are we going to learn that we cannot put our faith in these public figures? As black people, we can't put our faith in that because chances are they're living a lie. They're living a lie. Just like years ago, and you know what? I hate to say this, but I have lost a lot of respect for Felicia Rashad. I like Debbie Allen, But I have lost a lot of respect for Felicia Rashad because a woman of her stature should not be hanging around a woman like Cora Masters Berry. She should not be hanging around a woman like that. Cora Masters Berry is hood booger low class. Felicia Rashad comes from a certain echelon. She should not be hanging around a woman like Cora Masters Berry. But that's just like years ago, and people can get mad. And I'm going to say allegedly. I'm going to say allegedly because I don't know if it's true. But years ago, I saw a story that the reason that Ahmad Rashad divorced her was because Felicia Rashad was strung out on crack briefly at one time, that she had a drug addiction. Allegedly. Yes, Felicia Rashad that played Claire Huxtable on The Cosby Show. I heard that allegedly one time. Not coming from me, but that's what was said years ago. And they hushed the story up. We don't know these people. We don't know them. But they tell us to follow those people, but then they'll tell you, oh, you shouldn't listen to no wise women or witches. You shouldn't do no witchcraft. You shouldn't, try to advance your spirituality. But yet you want us to look up to people like Judge Mathis, who obviously has no character or integrity. You want us to look up to that, to him, and other people that are like him? I'm just making a generalized point. I'm making a broader point. It's bigger than Judge Mathis and Linda Mathis. It's much bigger than them. It's about the fact that we have a cult mentality as a people, not as black people, not as white people, but as a people. And it's ushering in an era of where our rights are going to be taken away from us. And we're going to have to focus in on one person and have an allegiance to one person. And if you don't do that, you will not be allowed to live in this world in peace. We have to believe the lies and the alibis and the deception and the scamming and the fraud and the charlatans. That is who they uphold and that is who they put on pedestals. But when people like me are speaking truth and other people like that, it's not just me, there are other people that speak truth too. But when we speak truth, we get attacked or our channels get shadow banned because we're not coming from it from a messy standpoint. We're coming from it from a life standpoint. And from you and using this as a way to tell how can I put it? We're using this as a way to tell a story and use this as a cautionary tale. If you are not happy in a relationship, you should not stay in it for 39 years. That is too long. That's damn near a half of a century. Shit, I'm damn near half of a century. Shit. Pretty soon I will be. I'm getting old. And I don't have time for no mess. This is really, really disturbing on so many levels because so many people looked up to Judge Mathis. So many people looked up to him. And so many people, especially black people, believed the lie that he was in a so-called happy black marriage when he was not. He was not. He was not treating that black woman right. Not if he was messing with men behind her back, allegedly. He wasn't treating her right. And so many women go through this in silence and they don't say anything or they don't know. And then you wonder why when you get with some of these men, Let me tell you the signs. They're acting funny. They don't want to have sex. They're acting distant. They're acting like they got a whole attitude with you for no reason. And you're trying to figure out as a woman, like, what did I do? And I'm not speaking for women, but I'm not speaking for women because I'm not a woman, but I'm speaking for women in a way because I'm saying, like, I can just imagine how women feel like, well, what did I do? Why is this man tripping on me? He don't want to fuck me no more. He don't want to make love to me. He's acting funny towards me. He's acting distant, got an attitude problem. And I'm pretty sure everything that I just said, acting funny, don't want to fuck, distant, I'm sure that Linda experienced every one of those characteristics coming from Greg Mathis within that marriage. Wendy Williams told it many years ago, and he cussed Wendy Williams out on her. He didn't cuss her out, but he ripped her to shreds on her show because she was telling the truth. She was telling the truth about his nefarious, depraved activities. I even heard her say that it was some allegations that he was doing drugs. Cocaine, to be exact. That booger sugar, as they call it. And Lord knows what else. You know, let me veer off to another topic that I want to talk about right quick. You know, should men really be doing spell work as a profession for other people? That's just a question that I have for numerous reasons. Because the sister that went down to Haiti and didn't make it back, Dana Jackson, everybody has their own opinion about what happened. Everybody has their own spiritual, interpretation on what happened. But I feel like there was a lot of masculine energy involved in that. And my question is, should men be leading spiritual ceremonies of that nature? Should men really be doing that? Should men really be doing that? And I know that that may seem like, how could you say that? It's no disrespect to anybody. Maybe some men, but the majority of men, should they really be leading spiritually? Because when you look at the world now, when you look at the world and how men are leading religion, certain spiritual sectors, certain spiritual how can I put it? Certain spiritual walks of life, the leaders mainly are men, and people are getting misguided. You know what I'm saying? People are getting misguided. You see Judge Mathis. He is a spiritual leader. He is a leader in the law. And look how misguided his family has become. But we are supposed to believe that these are the people that are supposed to lead us. This is what we're supposed to believe. When we see it right in front of our face where they're leading people to death, poverty, disease, despair, and depravity. Same thing with Andrew Tate, who I believe what he really needs to do, stop looking what he's looking for in a woman. You're not going to find that in a woman. You're going to find that in a man, but you're not going to find that in a woman. You're not going to find those qualities that they're looking for. He's not going to, him and his brother, they're not going to find that in a woman. They're going to find that in a man. Because women are not made to be subservient to men in that way. See, people don't understand that subservient shit. That falls under the category of BDSM. Women can be compassionate towards their men. They can be agreeable towards their men. Women can do things for their men, but it should not be under the guise of being subservient, because there should never be a day where a woman should be in a category called sub. Subservient means submissive. And that's some bullshit. And I don't give a fuck who don't like what I'm saying. Money does not mean you get to rule over somebody else. You can rule over yourself, but that doesn't give you the right to rule over other people. It's a spiritual warfare. This is spiritual warfare. You got Judge Mathis, whose wife has divorced him after 39 years. When you break down the 3 plus 9 is what? 10, 11, 12. The 12 zodiacs, the 12 disciples of Christ. You see the occultism in all of that? Because a lot of that shit was fake and phony too. These are nothing but black elitists playing games in our face. Just like we want to always hold the white elitists accountable, we need to start holding these black elitists accountable. Oh, so they think they are elitists, but they're really not. But I'm just saying that for the sake of the video. But should men really be leading in the spiritual sector of things? Should they really be doing spiritual ceremonies for people? Should they really be doing that? Because I think it's woman that should lead the spirit. Because woman is the spirit. And I can even accept that. Not saying that men, we don't play a part. Of course we do. But the black woman is spirit. The black woman is foundation. And maybe this is why everything is so backwards, is because men are leading the spiritual sectors of the world. They're leading the Masons. They're leading, the legal system. They're leading occultism. They're leading in every fraction of spirituality. And everywhere you look, there's depravity, there's depression, there is poverty, there is unhappiness. Look at Nature Boy. Look at what he did. Everywhere you go. What was that other man's name? Rashad Jamal. I mean, everywhere you go. It's always something. It's always some bad juju. Always. Always. And this all ties into what's going on with Judge Mathis and his wife. All of this bad juju. It don't matter that they got money. It's bad juju. Because like his wife said, he's not who we think he is. Same thing with Bill Cosby. He wasn't who we thought he was either. But a lot of black people getting their feelings about it. I get it. Bill Cosby got a worser, or he got a worse sentence and a worse punishment than some of the white men. We get it. I got that. I understand that. I don't disagree with that. But at the same time, isn't that revenge and redemption? As one of my spiritual co-workers says, revenge and redemption and responsibility. That's not my slogan. That's a spiritual co-worker slogan. And she talks about that all the time. And I'm just borrowing it. because I've learned a lot listening to a lot of the wise women. That helps me to interpret things. See, the men, we learn from the women, but they want to try to make it seem like, oh no, the women have to look up to the men. Well, how can somebody look up to the man when the man is a fallen angel? The man is one of the fallen ones. We're the fallen ones. How can we look up to them, or how can they look up to us when we fail? We're trying to get back to grace. We're trying to get back to that. But we're supposed to believe in people like a Greg Mathis and a Bill Cosby. We're supposed to believe in these people who are black elitists who haven't done anything for us. Well, at least Bill Cosby did the national, the Negro College Fund to help black people go to college. Yeah, I get that. I get it. Got it. I understand that. He did do that. Okay. Kudos. Bravo. But Bill Cosby don't like black people like that for real, for real. He only likes the black people that are part of his archonic family, who come from that archon bloodline. Those are the people that he like. Those are the people that he likes. Excuse me. And then come to find out he was drugging women and then having sex with them. And we're not supposed to feel a ways about that? We're not supposed to feel a ways that Judge Mathis has basically perpetrated an entire fraud while he goes around with this moral, self-righteous, indignated attitude that he's so moral. He wanted to judge Wendy. Wendy Williams was very open about her addiction and her struggles. Wendy Williams was very open about that. She's a cancer. Cancers are going to tell you, like, listen, I did this, I did that. They like putting out their own tea. They don't like nobody else putting out their tea. But see, he's an Aries. Aries like to keep up appearances. And they don't want people knowing how depraved they really are. It's like the Joan Crawford effect. Joan Crawford was an Aries as well. And there had been rumblings for years that she was abusing Christina and Christopher Crawford. For years they were talking about that in Hollywood. There were whispers about that. But they were able to keep it under wraps. What was the name of that magazine that back in the day? Confidential. Confidential had broke a story in the 60s about how abusive Joan Crawford was towards her daughter, but the studio shut it down. Just like there was some rumors that Joan Crawford had appeared in a porn movie, but the studio shut it down, allegedly. She's an Aries. Aries always find a way or ways to shut down shit if it makes their image look bad, even if it's the truth. See, cancers are going to come out and say, hey, yeah, I did that, because they're not going to let somebody else tell their tea. Remember when Oprah told the story about her long lost sister? She said, I'm going to put this out before the blogs get it. This was right before her show ended. She was pulling from Cancer. I know Oprah's an Aquarius, but that makes sense now when I was listening to one of my spiritual coworkers, when she was talking about how Cancer and Aquarius can sometimes basically go hand in hand. So when Oprah put that story out about her sister, she was pulling from cancer. Like when Wendy Williams put out her own tea about her drug addiction and her struggles. But we're not supposed to ask questions about this man, Judge Mathis, who's a whole fraud and a scam to the black community. They want people to look up to that because it's not what you see that hurts you, it's what you don't see. Because people are picking, I'm not picking, people are picking up those frequencies and those vibrations. Children, adults, and everybody. No, you don't want your children to be like him. You want your children to be like who they're supposed to be. Anyway, this is the occult view. That's all I have to say on this matter. Just think. Be the embodiment of logic and reason and intuition. Just think. Anyway, that's all I have to say on this matter. Thank you.